Molotovs and smokes coming in on the T side, and, well, I'm looking forward to seeing where those are going to be thrown.
Yeah, it certainly does raise a couple of interesting points in terms of what sort of utility is going to be invested and where. So far, it seems like one is going to be going down over towards mid to block off MBL's impact, and well, so far he's just spamming through the smoke trying to find something, but it is all going to be an attempt in vain, as of course the second smoke went up towards the A site. That is just going to be to block off that kind of left side of red container. Up towards his boost, and he is just doing so much work. What a monster! 4 frags to be found, quick succession, playing for the 5th, unable to quite land it, but Sickly going to be there to seal the deal off the back of MBL. There to really knock him down a peg. But a huge round from Toot and Shroud, proving to be, well, perhaps worth a bit of a rename in this matchup at least, as a very strong opening performance, 4 quick frags, back-to-back headshots. You don't see that every day.
Yeah, not a bad start. I do think they utilised that position very, very early. It was quite interesting to actually put that in.
A bit random to use it in a pistol round as well.
But anyhow, it works out, and it is actually going to be Colombia literally just going in with a single flashbang, looking to try and get the bomb down in this round and make themselves that extra money.
Yeah, the bomb is going to be the target, and it's actually at the back of the pack, so this is fairly smart, but they have 2 frags to find on top of their site, and they have rifle-loading maniacs there to spray on away and stop them from getting even remotely close, and it seems to be a bit of an success so far as Stracker and Tommy there to do the work, and well, it's going to be Stracker and Tommy to find themselves a double kill apiece with MBL, just to snipe on in and find a 5th frag of his own, so huge individual plays coming in to knock them down, of course fairly easy pickings for the most part, so nothing too much we really want to read into in that regard, and well, now our eyes are really kind of all pointing towards this one kind of equal footing buy. That's what we're pretty much waiting for at this point.
Yeah, of course. We are just looking to see the Ts save up their money to get themselves a buy going into the next round. Of course, a lot of that added value is going to be made if they can do some damage with the pistols running through the Molotov. Is not going to help them out anymore. Sickly going aggressive at the moment and looking for the player in Z, who will be MBL. Had a great performance in the game that we watched, and looking to see whether or not you can do that once again, or the first game we watched, I should say. Didn't have such a good performance in the 16-2 defeat to Team 1, but at the same time, Striker just going to clean things up, and, well, they've made that look almost easy. Last couple of rounds, keep losing only 2 players total so far in the whole map, so that's definitely going to help them in terms of economy and actually play with. Now, I wonder if they've actually dropped an AWP. No, it's actually going to be balled up by Johnny, and, well, we know that he was hitting an awful lot of shots when he was actually finding the picks early on. Sam will actually pick up one of his own, so the save coming out from Team Colombia will actually add that extra economy into their hands as well. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
In terms of map control, kind of overall objective, it is pretty limited so far. There's a bit of presence to be garnered over towards this B side. Is it going to be the slow peaks here and there and everywhere for the pretty much most part? Well, for Colombia, they have pretty much a lot of options on a T side on Cash, to be honest. You can decide to go aggressive towards mid, really kind of try and pry open the round from that regard. You can go in towards A main. These defaults can be so exceptionally strong, but only working at certain styles of teams, and kind of need to really get to grips with what Argentina are going to be playing like, and then from there, kind of play the adaptation card. So this is a perfect round for them to really kind of try and test the waters. And Sam, oh, he does it to a T, goes aggressive, finds the pick on towards Johnny Boy, and it looks like mid going to be the target of choice, and a pretty vulnerable target of that as well. We are starting to see the rotate begin to kind of light itself up towards Connector, so some more firepower will be created, and Tommy, who actually had to find his own frag on towards Sickly, so it is going to be that kind of 1-for-1 scenario, but nonetheless, we're back looking at mid that is, well, ripe for the picking.
Of course, CT side do have a little bit of a backup plan into the next round if they are to lose as one. Nice pick will come out from Sam, so they do have the man advantage back now, and still falling back towards middle. A little bit of a surprise, I think, for Tommy. He doesn't actually know they're there. Sam, in the meantime, will go pushing back, and Striker's got a bit of an off angle here. Now, this angle, really, you have to play the timing absolutely perfectly to get away with absolutely anything here. And while they are going to check the angle, and that's going to be Burning, finishing him off, only leaving 2 players to try and fight this one back. Not looking like they're going to be able to do too much. And, well, it may just be valuable to actually try and save your weapons into the next round. Of course, you don't really have too much. You're going to go spraying through the wall. Doesn't really do anything in terms of the wall bang, and looking like they're still going to try and push this one, even though there isn't too much hope for them overall. It will be a trade out, and eventually Tooten is going to go pushing back, pick up the AK, and fall out of the round.
It's just going to be scarping over to the hills, looking to at least bring that one through, and he should be doing it fairly comfortably, to be honest, as Colombia, they are nowhere nearby. They're just going to let it tick on away and, well, head towards their own portion of the map where they will just sit idly by and go for a bit of a similar sort of affair, just wait down that clock, and eventually it will lead us over onto what will be our 5th round. Now, in terms of the way things have swung, it was a solid start off the back of what was a, a very strong pistol round at that. But this is a nice way of keeping it nice and close and contested. Of course, there is that kind of fallback option, something you talked about ever so dearly in the round, which is Argentina that they can still buy, and it's still ridiculously healthy. We're seeing perfect rifles, perfect utility. The AWP is still into the hands of Johnny Boy, a player that can be very, very influential when he can step up to the plate. Still a lot of window of opportunity for Team Colombia as they will begin to get themselves set into this round. It's going to be present gained over towards that B site. This time going a bit more of a team-based strategy instead of just singular peaks, and this is going to be the prompt that perhaps we're looking towards this round as being a bit of a mid to B split in the latter portion.
We are going to look again, Babies, trying to get himself a little bit of presence over towards this A side. The bomb hasn't actually moved yet, and they've sort of kept themselves split. It will be Tootin to peek out, but the trade comes out in favor of the Argentina side, meaning that, well, it's the T's up against the wall once again. They have position over towards Toxic, and two players, in fact, just waiting to see any sort of rotations. They're going to throw the Molotovs in and almost try and force some players out. There's only one player actually over towards A at the moment, as the rotation will come in, and Sam is actually going to get a kill onto Strucker. That was literally just a Molotov thrown in. Burning as well, ironically, finds the next, and that's going to be MBL down and out of the round, leaving just Tommy and Johnny, the rhyming brothers, to try and fight this one back, but Sickly, he has other ideas, just leaves it down to one, and Tommy has to sort of decide whether this is actually worth going for.
I think at this point his best option is just to save. Yes, it's a 1v3, we've seen him done in the past, but it's an incredible ask, and it's almost just like him making an offering and saying, here, you know what, 1 and 4, just out some more damage. Because the CT side, they need some kind of retrospective at this point. They had an opportunity to stop them dead in their tracks, stop this from even beginning. But let it slip through, let the bombs begin to tick on away, and Tommy, he gives away the inevitable, decides that, you know what, he's going to go for it and gets punished off the back of that.
Yeah, Team Argentina, they're going to have their money set straight back down. Of course, they've lost a couple of rounds in a row, so it's not too much of a problem overall. They will be able to get a buyback up in the next round with the 2,400 loss bonus. It's not going to be anything too crazy, but there may be an opportunity for Tootin to actually drop an AWP, especially if he gets a kill now. With the extra money, he could have actually made it a little bit easier, so might not be the case. Of course, Johnny normally is quite impactful, has been a little bit quiet so far, but it's very early on in this half, and well, they can afford to lose a couple of rounds after the back of winning that pistol. Either way, early aggression, Spamsy will spray away and catch Johnny down to very low HP. A couple of dinks have come in though, and Spamsy down to just 38, so maybe there is an opportunity for that P250 to do some work onto Tootin.
And it's just all about setting up for all those opportunities and trying to harness them for the best possible outcome. Of course, this is a very lopsided round in terms of the way it should swing and what is being brought to the table, so we shouldn't really be seeing anything too crazy. It should just be a nice and clean sweep mop-up. But Spamsy just going to make a bit of a target out of his own head, and he pays the cost of it. MBL more than happy just to snap on away, finds a shot for his troubles. Won't quite be able to get enough of it. There's no rifle to be picked on up. But MBL going at this one again. Another headshot, looking now for a third frag if he can make it this one stick. And this is ridiculous. Sickly eventually will punish him. And Burning will find the frag on towards Tootin, but you kind of have to look towards this and say, good amount of damage to be dished as well, especially if Tommy can claim this frag. And well, now that's 3 frags. You said 3 was your target. Well, they've just smashed it completely.
Burning. He's only on 11 HP, so maybe there is an opportunity they can actually do a little bit more. An AK has been grabbed, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy actually tried to challenge this one now. It's a 1 versus 2. The position of Sam is actually a very good one, though. He is holding with the AWP, so a missed shot could actually be the end, but he's looking to switch back. Orp comes out, and well, he will finish the round. Make sure that there is no change for Argentina. But a little bit of extra money made. Not likely to see... I don't know, will we see the AWP? He actually is. He's going to go for it, drop it down over towards Johnny. So actually not a bad position to be in. They just about have enough cash. And it does mean that he's going to have no utility behind it, but at the same time, that's the AWP onto Johnny, and that's what we wanted to see. He's currently going to be going over towards that A site. May take a little bit of early aggression. He's going to throw out the smoke, and it's going to allow him to actually go up onto the booster. Unfortunately, in the meantime, we've actually got the push coming in over towards that B site. All 5 players currently pushing in that direction. Toxic control belongs to them, and well, there is a boost in vent at the moment. The other players in checkers, so the site is completely abandoned at this point, but the positions that they have are actually almost more than valuable. A little bit of a spray coming out in towards middle at the moment, and well, now we wait to see this setup, but I think this could actually be a counter-reaction to what we saw previously. 2 Molotovs going onto the site. Well, there's nobody there.
And leaving it wide open now for the taking, as Tommy is the man to drop in from vent, though, and it does give a bit of a Oath to this crossfire setup, but even that is not really going to be doing too much at all. They've let it get down, and now Sam going to be looking to surround him with this AWP, but he gets punished. The crossfire will try and make something work, and in fairness, they get themselves a pick for their troubles, but not before the headshots can be connected. It's going to be still that kind of 2-for-1 scenario, leading us to a 3 versus 2. MBL and Johnny Boy, the players we've really kept an eye on for being so accurate. Or can they make this one stick, as Johnny will find a frag for his troubles on towards Burning, but not before Davies can respond. So again, it's that trading scenario, and these refrags are exactly what they're looking for, as MBL going to hit the deck, and there you have it. It's going to be Colombia coming up trumps with just another round. Argentina, they went for a creative setup on towards that B site, and it was not quite good enough.
Yeah, they tried their best to adapt. In terms of how it could have worked, it definitely was a nice idea. It was like set basically just to go for the retake. The problem is they didn't really find too many of the shots being hit, and once the after-plant positions came in for Colombia, it just became absolutely impossible for them to actually opt to try and retake. Either way, we are just going to have pistols back on the board for Argentina. So it has been 4 rounds for Colombia in a row, of course. And, well, they're looking to try and make that a little bit more in this round. Of course, we've seen some damage done with the pistols. In fact, the last round, it came pretty damn close overall, with 3 players being dropped for the T side. And this time, they're looking to use their utility. And hopefully, well, maybe they won't be able to be caught out as easily. Going to go for the mid push, take those longer range battles over towards the highway, which definitely favor the rifles quite heavily. Push will come in. Teuton's ready and waiting, but it's quick shot by Davey to finish him off. And, well, now the spam comes away as Davey just closes this round down. Kill will come in, though. MBL and Tommy actually both combining, and they're still not making this clean. It seemed like everything was going really, really well, and then MBL is going to add another to the list. So AK picked up. He doesn't have any armor, so challenging doesn't have too much value behind it. But you have to remember, loss bonus coming in the next round. They're going to be able to buy no matter what.
He's going to be looking for this one. Goes to the peak. Unable to quite find the shot originally, but going to be going for the reshot anyway, and still ever so close. But he's scraping by on just 9 HP, and Spamsy, well, he lives up to his name, swings him from Connector, finds the shot. And it looks like we are finding ourselves at a bit more of a securing platform. Of course, that loss bonus you talked about, it is building up. It is going to be ever so present when we get ourselves a full buy, a perfect peachy, everything you require scenario that is pretty much set up for both of these teams to face off once again and have a real kind of clash. Now, in terms of the way these rounds are swung, it does kind of open up an opportunity for Argentina to try and adapt. But the original time they tried that, things did crumble for them, so it certainly is a bit of an argument to, well, what can they change now?
They got themselves the AWP back in play. Definitely want to see the avenue that Johnny has taken in this round. It's going to be the B play. Sam has already got a cross, so both players holding an angle that realistically neither of them should peek. Now, this could actually mean that Bait In can come in for Sickly, and he will actually fall in the meantime. But, well, Johnny, in fact, is just going to fall back over towards the site. In the meantime, we do have a push coming in over towards that A site, and mid is still under contention with a couple of players ready and waiting to have also the boost into them, which seems to be quite a common ploy for Tommy at the moment, although it hasn't actually paid too much in terms of response as of yet. A little bit of a rotation will be coming out from the CT side as they do maneuver themselves back towards this 3-pronged highway defense, and the CT side seems to have a decent read on this. It's looking like it is much more likely to go towards this A side. Johnny already holding a position which allows for a quick retake and also a fade away in case it is on B, so maybe they have just read the Colombian side quite well. Now, the setup is going to come in once again. It seems like quite a decent setup coming out from the Colombia side, getting their smokes into the site, and then they go pushing in onto the remaining players. Molotov will come out. It's going to delay the push at least a little bit, and they're going to actually have to throw the smokes down and able to get onto the site.
Beginning to push on in, it will be Burning to kind of lead the charge over towards Forklift, finds a headshot for his trouble. Striker will eventually respond, so it will be a bit of a 1-for-1 affair, but it leads towards aggression towards Squadron. That just comes up chumps in every single direction. Both of these teams popping up an actually huge man is leading us to this pinnacle moment, a 1 versus 1 Sam. 14 HP Striker, poised on 73, but look at this position. This could be perfect. The Striker is going to be peeking on around, but Sam, he tucked himself in towards Carwood and gets away with it by the skin of his teeth. He had enough time, by just down to a second, to get that bomb plant. And he will draw back to this highway peak, and this is so smart. This AWP is going to go for the headshot, and it's connected in a very excitable fashion. And you can see them. You can always feel it. They are getting pumped.
Yeah, Colombia now with their 6th round in a row. Argentina haven't shown up as of yet in this best-of-1 series. Of course, we are getting pretty close to the pinnacle of this group, at least. Only 3 teams can go through. One of them will go through top as well, which at the moment looks like Canada are going to be opting to try and take that spot. Of course, the only way that can stop them would actually be if Team 1 managed to get away with it. Of course, both of the teams are actually through already in terms of their ability to win, unless I think Argentina could actually get to 3. They've only lost one so far, but at the same time, they've got to win this one, and at the moment it isn't looking too good. They've lost 6 rounds in a row. They're back to pistols once again. They're saving up to get another buy on the board, but I'm wondering what they'll actually be able to change.
It certainly raises a lot of questions and kind of pits us towards a very problematic scenario for Argentina. Of course, their CT side was something that was strong for them in previous matchups, and well, right now, they're not really showing us too much at all to really kind of, well, prove it, to be honest, which is something that Colombia are more than happy to take advantage of. Of course, we always lean towards now Cash being that map where on the T side you can do quite a lot of work and you really should be getting that 9-6. We have seen adaptations begin to really take hold, but in this matchup it really feels like Colombia have just took Argentina and, well, more than happy to manipulate them into whichever direction they so shall please. As Sam is going to be there with the AWP just kind of leading his own little cluster. Is Marriott as they begin to get themselves set up to, well, gain some pressure towards mid as well as, for the most part, set themselves up towards A. And NBL, he really needs to do so much work here with this pistol. Spam's on the way, but he's going to find one for his troubles, and eventually it leads to that same sort of ickling scenario. And one that's not too pretty, just pistols, trying to claw something back. But vengeance, it's a pretty dangerous quest. And a quest that leads Straka to his death.
Yep, Tommy, the last one left alive, at least going to try and do some damage. There's one thing that they have been pretty good at on this CT side is at least making it expensive, but this time it's not meant to be. They have 4 players surviving overall, and Team Colombia are going to look to push forward once again. 7 rounds in a row as the distance goes bigger and bigger by the second. Now, will we see a change for a double AWP? No, it's still going to be the singular. Plenty of utility in play, but we haven't really seen that AWP actually have too much of an impact just yet. Johnny, well, it was 2 to do at one point. Since then, only really been hitting some tags and getting some assists. It's more that entry frag potential that we want to see. Now, they've switched up their position yet again. They're going to go aggressive towards this B site. Sickly is completely blind, but actually the flash thrown out will catch one. But there we go, Johnny. He's caught that first kill. Got Spamsy in the meantime. Actually going to go for the re-peek to see if there's anybody trying to catch him off guard. And well, so far, it doesn't look like there's going to be much of an attempt at a trade.
Trade is a bit of a difficult one for Colombia to try and really pull off, especially when Johnny's just going this aggressive. But Sam, more than happy to sit there dead set in action. And Johnny, on the re-peek, it just hands it to him on a nice little silver-lined platter. Presenting that 4 versus 4 predicament. NBL looking to walk dead set through that smoke, and he is going for this one. He is hungry, and it's going to bear a reward of Sickly's life. Probably just aren't quite expecting this one, but Burning, he's going to respond, spam straight through the wall, and NBL, he's going to lose his life. And, well, comedic way to go about it, but it's still a frag nonetheless. And, well, we can't judge, we cannot hide. Because Colombia taking themselves on towards this A site, and, well, do you spot an Argentinian? Because I do not. They are nowhere near the site, nowhere near able to hold things off. Leaving us down to a pretty tough one. Tommy and Straka, the 2 men to really keep your eyes on here. One towards CT, just playing over towards Car, and one soon to arrive in towards A main, but this is just going to be so damn tough. Burning, forced out of this corner. Tommy peeking up towards A main. Sam will find off Straka. Tommy there to claim the life of Davies, but it's still a 1 versus 2. Pushes in towards that smoke, really playing around it, and acts as a shroud to get himself into a forklift, but it's very, very smart. But Burning still 1 step ahead of him. The headshot will be connected. And it pits Colombia on, well, one hell of a score, and it's when we talked about how strong Argentinian CT side originally has shown to be. Nothing is working for them right now. They're getting picked off left, right, and center.
Yeah, they did have a reasonable CT side last time, so the fact that they have been shut down so convincingly this time is somewhat worrying, only really winning the initial rounds in this game, and other than that, it's been an 8-round streak. Nade will be thrown up. They have opted to force into this one, not really going to do too much damage in the overall scale of things. I'm going to go for a little bit of a boost into vent, and the spam from Straka will catch an extra bit of damage, but oh, there we go. He actually catches one straight through the smoke, so that's going to help them out significantly. Man advantage over towards that CT side, and well, now the Ts have to sort of maneuver themselves back around, trying to change things up, trying to make something a little bit different, but they've been very good at that so far, and they're looking to continue that in this round.
Keeping up the presence, most importantly, which is exactly what they're looking to do. They don't just want to roll over and make it nice and easy. So a good find is exactly what they're looking for. And Tommy's position vent actually could be relatively useful, because not only can it net a frag, but it allows them then to kind of decide, okay, do I want to drop down in towards that B site, and basically be another kind of adding factor. Why Colombia don't really want to risk going even remotely near, so they are going to be falling on back, having to kind of remake their entire decision-making process, and that alone wasted a lot of time. And 3 versus 5, where you're dwindling on time, you don't actually have any map control, leads you to kind of rush things. And in terms of what they can do, well, some presence will be gained out towards mid. Looks like we are potentially going to be seeing 2 players out towards mid go up highway or just split in towards B, with one heading up towards A main with the bomb. And well, that's almost going to be expected at this point, looking at the clock, as Johnny will be the first man to be this early warning system. MBL will pay in his life. It is still Tootin to drop the bomb, and with 20 seconds left, there really isn't too much this T-side could do. Now they have to go quick and aggressive, and Stracker just going to be claiming the lives left, right, and center. Sam will eventually find himself a quick trade, but unfortunately, there is no magic going to be taking place today in Argentina, and they finally start to really fight on back. They get themselves around on the board, and well, now there's only really one thing we're looking towards: longevity. They have to find themselves a string, and they can't just let this be a one-off.
Yeah, they have to start playing that sort of long game. The thing with the T side is they haven't actually got as much money as you may have come to expect. They got a bit. They probably have enough that if they get a bomb plant, they can actually buy even with a loss in the next round. But it's not like they've... Well, it doesn't look like they've won 8 rounds in a row. Let's put it that way. They're not stacking cash. There's been a lot of close ones, a lot of the time being 2 players left alive for that T side, or even less in most circumstances. Either way, they're going to have to try and break this economy straight back. Otherwise, Argentina could actually get themselves back into this game and in a decent margin as well. Now, again, we look towards this T side. They're going to throw a few nades in. This is a bit of a fake. Johnny actually holding further back. A nice angle using the little spot on the door, but it is all a fake. And I don't think really anyone has bought it over on the other side of things. Burning is going to be spotted out. Flashbangs will be thrown to try and slow down any aggression. The Molotov as well should weaken the cross, but the bomb has already made it to the site, and that's the most integral factor.
Does the damage so far. Sam's life will be playing, but the bomb is going to go down, but Tommy's still popping off, and a huge mannerism punishes on towards Burning. Sickly finally going to wake up and cut him down, but eventually it still pits him in that 2 versus 4, and this is a very risky situation to be in, not one you'll find yourself in every single day, and well, it's not one you tend to be able to worm your way out of. Davies is going to be looking to hold off on towards headshot. A quick headshot, ideally, would be the rather ironic way to go about things. As Tootin looking to wrap him from behind. The tags will be inflicted. He peeks out towards CT, finds the 5 first doubles on towards Johnny. Sickly pops off on towards MBL, and well, they're keeping this one nice and close and contested, but Tootin, he's still stalling in and makes a mess of things, but the fuse is being stuck. A bit of an anticlimactic way almost to cut it down, as we don't even get to see it take place, but it happens nonetheless.
Yeah, the bomb will actually be defused while they are in behind. Of course, it was mentioned, if the bomb goes down, they're going to have enough to actually get a buyback on the board. AWP dropped over to Sam, who has had a massive amount of impact so far in this game, but it is going to be a buyback for either side. Now, you have to remember, the chance for the reset is pretty high on both of them, and going into that last round of the half, it could mean that the deciding factor here could be this round rather than the next. Of course, even with a weaker buy, I'm sure both of these teams can at least put up a decent fight, but an 8-7 and a 10-5, I feel like that's a completely different side of a coin.
For sure. Of course. Very early days in this round, the 14th round of that, and a lot can happen. Argentina looking to prove that anything is possible. Sickly going to be going somewhat aggressive over towards this B side, of course. Hunt for a bit of information, something that Colombia have been attempting to garner quite a lot in these rounds, and it seems to be certainly a bit of a repetition effect, but it is something that has boded well for them, as Johnny maybe find the first pick, some aggression of his own, but getting away. Pretty close effect as well, nearly losing his life, knocked down to 42 HP, but is still alive nonetheless, and he is going aggressive again. Johnny, man, you've got some balls. Let's see if it will pay off, as potentially could spot out this boost that's taking place, but Sickly looking like he's clocked onto this one. Read it like a book, but Johnny's still going to go straight through the edge of the smoke, finds the frag, and now please, Johnny, just fall back, cut your losses, run away, because you haven't even got a loss. You've got yourself a success. There is no need to keep up the aggression. Just go back, sit on that A site, and look towards highway, because that's going to be your target of choice. Finds the frag on towards Davies, leaving just Spamsies, who is now in his own grave, and Burning to sit idly away.
And that's a big round for Johnny to just step up in. They really needed that one, and oh. Yeah, I'm actually initially could throw in a fake, I suppose, but quite an audacious strategy seemingly coming up. They're going to go for those mid-smokes early on, so they are actually going to go for that little bit of a challenge. We've got Sickly actually pushing round and will Molotov off the vent position. This should be a relatively easy Molotov to land and should clear anybody out of that position, which in the case we do. We see Tommy actually move back, so they are looking to split onto this B site now. They've got out mid, they've got close and personal, and now they've just got to start hitting their shots. The problem is there's still utility on this CT side holding them back. That's the biggest thing, but there we go. Davey will pounce, manages to get the first. They're going to go looking in, MBL just flashing off into the site. Rotation will be coming in, but it's a little bit slow, and this leaves just one left. Actually, only MBL to try and fight this back, and he isn't really inside the action either. He's got to try and shoot from heaven. The bomb is going to go down, and while they picked up an M4 in the meantime, Sickly trying to hold off this rotation, but Tuten's gone all the way around, so he needs to try and catch him as he goes past, and that looks like exactly what he's going to be doing. Now, in terms of the amount of time left, the CTs really need to get their groove on, and while MBL is going to start things off, the taps will come in, and eventually Sickly does catch that lurker, leaving MBL to just challenge just alone at the moment. Johnny doesn't seem to be really in this round at all until he hits the shot there, leaving it down to the 1 versus 1. Johnny versus Sickly. Sickly the lurker for the whole of the round. He has himself the AK going for the challenge. Throws out the orb, but well, it looks like that's going to be it. And while Johnny is going to lose this one, nice round coming out from Colombia. They do hit B, and they go for that mid take.
A 3K from Sickly to total up is not a bad performance either way individually as well. So a player
Nice
we
low
talked
play.
right from the get, channeled into this one. But for now, all eyes are on these pistol players, as it is going to be 3 sets of Kevlar for Argentina. The rest all invested into utility, and it's a bit of a similar story. An overall affair for Colombia, 3 sets of Kevlar and 2 utility players, including a double kit setup. And now we all know how I feel about double kits.
Yeah, you're a big supporter of them, and you try and bring them into UKCS all of the time.
Of course. Yeah.
Either way.
That's an 8.5. Absolutely exactly what he was aiming for as Burning will find himself a headshot onto us, Tommy. So a comical round so far, but still a damaging one nonetheless, as Spamsy is going to be tapping on away doing his job. As Stracker and MBL more than happy to find the headshots nonetheless, as MBL swings in from CT, finds another frag for himself, just looking to really claim a portion of this pie, and he's pretty much doing it all himself in this round, just stepping up absolutely hugely. Sam now looking to swing in from Connector and at least score something back in this round, but it feels like just a commiseration, as MBL more than happy to end him right where he stands. A 4K from MBL in that round, an incredible performance.
Yeah, definitely a map that he seems to be very, very good on. Mirage was not the same without him, I think. I think there was a point where he only had like 3 kills after like 20 rounds or something ridiculous. So they got absolutely destroyed on that map. And actually, that might be wrong because I'm not even sure they got to a point where there were even 20 rounds on the table. So either way, we are going to look to see if Argentina can convert the next few rounds. Now, Colombia seemingly just want to save up and get themselves the money for the buy. So that's something we mentioned before, that something you can respect. Of course, if they can get themselves some extra damage with the pistols, that would, of course, be nice for them. Argentina already have shown that they are very good with these pistol plays and actually able to catch off 3 or more players in the majority of the rounds that they do. Of course, they've gone for 4 rifles into the second round, so not really taking any risks. They're just trying to get themselves as much money as they can by keeping everybody alive.
Certainly will be the more idealistic way to go about things. Keeping everyone alive is sometimes harder than it seems, though, especially when you are looking for these more closer range angles. But so far, it seems like that has been a bit more of a reserved approach. There's one man to perhaps be a little bit worried about will be 2, because he's going to be taking a good chunk of damage and potentially going to be knocked down from behind. But in fact, he finds the frag and decides to depart back over towards Vent Burning. Will at least claim the life of Johnny. So damage beginning to be inflicted. The rifle picked up by Davey is actually pretty huge, especially now that they're finding themselves off the headshots as well. But it feels like maybe that rifle better used elsewhere.
Yeah, looking like he is just going to retreat back over towards the spawn. Another will be caught by Burning as well, so that's the second rifle that he can try and hold on to. And Argentina, they have not kept this clean at all. They were supposed to be trying to keep as many players as alive as possible with the buy that they purchased, and well, 1 is definitely not the number that I had in mind.
Yeah, that somewhat sets the tone now for how this next round is going to flow, because you look at the economy of both of these teams, and it's a pretty equal footing, but it raises a question of, what do Colombia want to do in this round because of just how close they kept things? And they have that rifle, of course.
See, from my point of view, I'd say go for it, just because you could actually reset the economy early. Of course, they are still into the lead, and I suppose if you're able to do that much damage with limited pistols once, you can try and do it again and have the extra rifle on Davey as well. So I suppose it's the safer bet. I'm not going to take any risk here, and, well, they could hand some economy back over to Argentina if they're able to do this. Now, the smoke will come in onto quad. They're going to actually clear all the angles up close first, and, well, nice little pick will come in from Stracker as he goes through, but there's Burning once again. They have a crossfire, in fact, and, well, the closer range position, Burning's managed to capitalize, and that's just ridiculous stuff at the moment. Colombia step up with the pistols, and they're going to save 4 AKs into the next round. Colombia pulling out a big round, and that is a huge reset for Argentina, not even able to capitalize versus basic pistols.
Why force when you can win around in that sort of fashion and get yourself $6,300 in profit just to sit in the bank and bide its time for you to use in that 20th round, no matter the outcome. Absolute ridiculous stuff being brought to the table, as you say. And, oh, we said it would set the tone. that right there is a pretty damn low note for Argentina, as they will be going to this one with those pistols. The UMP on Tommy is a bit of a shining light, but feels like one that is subtly running out of battery at this point. Spamsy is going to be going for the pick, and well, so far so good. Claims the life of Stracker, goes to the repick through the smoke, not quite able to land it, but push is still going to be a bit of an ongoing onslaught. Tootin with this Tech 9 will find a frag for his Sharbles, but not before they can just be dropped on dead, and more damage. It's going to be a limited affair. And eventually, it's going to be the funeral beginning for Argentina, as they have one man remaining. He's soon going to be hitting the deck with just 19 HP. It's going to be scarpering away, so it gets away by the skin of his teeth. But it still feels like he's pretty much out of this one.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to fall away, and if he can get himself a kill and a rifle, then maybe it's worth actually trying to save something. Of course, there's a minute left on the clock. He does have the bomb as a minimum, but really there's no reason for the Colombia side to go hunting here. He doesn't have anything to play with, and to let him keep it into the next round wouldn't even be that beneficial for him. He will only have $50, and in fact, dying would actually give him more money than he's actually invested into this round. So I think the CTs are going to be pretty happy to just wait this one out and just sit on the sites to make sure there's no plants. And, well, really, I think that's the right decision for them to be making.
Yeah, keep themselves nice and intact, of course. You look at it from that perspective, the more they build things up, the easier it is from them on the CT side, right? The less potential for a kind of a smashing down upset, because if they don't have to rebuy a single one of these rifles or the AWP, we mentioned at the start of the round, $6,300. That's a pretty huge chunk to go into what will be the 20th round, and the frag's going to be found either way, Johnny. He will fall.
Yeah, no, and well, that was an investment as well coming out from Argentina. They were trying to save their economy, knowing that they'd probably have to double eco anyway. So instead, well, they're going to have a similar buy coming into this round, next to nothing. And, well, that's going to be even more money that the CTs are going to be able to build up. Only Davey, really, with little, I suppose, spams, he hasn't exactly blown away the bank just yet. But, well, Colombia are looking good to take this one. They've got themselves the economy, they've got themselves the round score. And they're up against just Glocks.
Yeah, looking just to rock on away, but it's going to be pretty damn tough. But Sam is going to be landing some shots with the AWP and no scope eventually. But he does give it up to Tommy, so that does give them an opportunity. But something else arises, and that is head on a pike. Colombia, they will keep it for the most part okay. Two losses isn't exactly kind of remotely good, but it's better than kind of losing that third player. That's always kind of the benchmark figure. And well, now we're all got eyes on this 21st round. They've soaked up the losses. We're looking at Argentina on 5 flat rifles. Utility is pretty bountiful, so they really can't be complaining. It's, of course, the same ever story for Colombia as it just keeps on growing.
They will get a buyback on it, so it's somewhat even at the moment. AWP onto Sam is an avenue that should be explored, but Tootin's actually going to start things off. Nice little pick onto Burning as well. That's going to help them out massively with the start of the round. We have Stracker going for a bit of a jump peak, and in terms of aggression, there's nothing coming from the CT side at the moment. They don't want to go for anything too crazy just yet. Either way, they are looking for mid control on the T side. Going to try and throw the smoke out into Z. Not going to throw anything out over to the right, but they are going to clear things with Molotovs, and then the flashbangs go over as Tootin and co are ready to try and take over all this mid-control now. At the moment, it's a straight 2-2 split for the Colombia side. They're ready to just sit this out on the sides. They do have Sam looking towards Highway, as that long-range AWP will be in play to at least try and catch them off if they go for this peak, and he needs to at least get one, and well, already missing the shot. They now know where that AWP is. They give him a second chance, and he misses that shot as well. Molotov will go down to actually slow them out, but in the meantime, there's a push coming in from behind him. He really has to step up, and he's missing so many shots, he doesn't even realize they're now in from behind as Stracker finishes off the remaining 2 on the site. And well, I think for Davey and Sickly, they just have to fall back and save in terms of the money for the CT side. They definitely have enough to get a buyback on the board, but it doesn't mean they just want to throw away rifles. Waste not, want not.
That is exactly the ideology they should be trying to run with at this point, just looking to at least bring them on through. And I'm looking towards the scoreboard, Tom, and going, is there potential for Argentina? Because this score gap is not that huge in the grand scheme of things. It's a relatively easy one to kind of thin down and eventually convert into a positive scenario. The question is, from just looking at the way they've been playing, is it a possibility? Of course, just to kind of cut us off there before we delve into that one, Davies is going to claim the headshot on towards Tootin, and well, Tommy ever so close to potentially losing his life or gaining +1 as well, so it's going to be a bit of a backstep effect, and they are just getting well introduced sandwich, and it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath post-round as Stracker picks up 2 apiece.
Yeah, they will manage to actually close down the remaining players at least, so it is going to become a little bit more costly for the side of the CTs. Now, they are going to be comfortably able to buy, as said, 11,000 on burning going into this one will definitely help them out in terms of their economy, so that's not too much of a problem overall. The AWP will be dropped onto Sam, and, well, they are going to have their buy back into this round. Of course, their economy has taken a hit, so there is the potential, of course, for Argentina to bring this one back. They're still on that T side, although so far they seem to have struggled quite dearly in this actual match. But here we go, Spamsy, they're going to switch things up. The nade drops onto his head, almost as a wake-up call, saying, well, I know you're there, and Johnny is going to be holding that angle. Not actually going over the boost, just going to sit behind it in case there's a counter boost from the T side. So, again, playing this one smart, not going for anything too crazy, and if the A push is to come in, well, they're going to be ready for it now. Oh, actually going to go for this boost. Surely they should know that there's somebody close by, have an idea of it at least. No, it's not going to be the case. MBL is taken down, Spamsy with the first.
It is a Frank to be found. But let's see if really will kind of pay the dividend that Colombia are truly going to be hunting for us too. Was looking to jump out towards mid, but decides, you know what, probably jumping down into the flames, not the greatest thought process I've ever had, so we'll wait for them to eventually kind of burn on away and begin to extinguish themselves before he goes for this push. And Spamsy, he's there ready and waiting with the M4, but it doesn't matter because he is going to be headless, and that means that he is a man dead in the crowd, leaving us now pitched out of 4 versus 4. Of course, Sickly is over towards Vent, an ever faithful spot that he's been ever so commonly, but he makes it work, finds the frag on towards Stracker, dropping down now in towards B, looking to hold things off. Tommy going to be wrapping in on the back of Checkers, and this pincer is shipping almost a guaranteed frag, and well, there you have it. It will roll in the lead. It was exactly where originally intended. Now, a lot of pressure on towards Sam. The guy with an AWP to hold off against 3 people on the site. He's got all its work completely cut out for him, and well, unfortunately for him, unable to really achieve results.
Yeah, they're now slightly isolated from the side, make that completely as Tucson now finishes off the one player with a way back into the round, burning completely smoked out. Going to look to try and tap away, but I think he's just clutching at straws at this point. His utility has been used to just keep them out of the round at the moment. Colombia, well, I'm actually going to get one, and now he's looking to challenge this back, but Tommy denies before anything can get started.
And that alone really starts to kind of cement the idea that Argentina, they do have a shot in this one. They will keep up the good fight, and well, it puts them to 10 in comparison to Colombia's 12, should I say. The 2-round gap is what we were going to be going into, and well, when you look at what Colombia can build in this round, we talked about how strong and well built up and fortified their economy was. Well, just take a glance at it now. It is really nowhere to be seen. They will get a solid buyout in the next round, but at least in this one, it's back to pistols, back to basics. And that is a pretty tough one for you to find yourself in as Argentina. They want to take full advantage. They've got themselves the Mactons on the board and Stracker and Tommy. And if they can make themselves some money and pick this one up in a clean fashion, it's a perfect way to really start off and get themselves into the 24th round.
Yeah, of course. Looking to make that money up, and, well, something that hasn't been booming for Argentina the majority of the game. Still pistols in play, and Colombia have already shown that they are able to use these, so maybe there is still an avenue that they can actually take this round. Of course, with this round under the belts of Argentina, it would be a much closer affair. You have to remember the last time they lost a pistol round, they didn't actually have any SMGs as those sort of almost pivotal players to just run in, and Tommy is already going to find one with Johnny combining as well. The spray down, and well, there goes that rifle, there goes another. The Strucker is lost, and well, in fact, I think that was just another MAC-10, but still something to play with, plus the bomb. The utility that was found is going to be expended, but the dunk straight off the backboard into the net.
The perfect way to go about things, of course, looking to really cement his NBA career. As he looks to really build into things now, as it will be Sam to find the frag on towards Tommy. Tootin over towards Forklift, sitting idly by, not really looking to make too much noise, and he's just going to get across. Sickly really got to hit those. And, well, an impactful shot, not quite to be found. And that alone opens up a choice of opportunity for Sam to claim the life of Tootin. Swings on around now, looking to cut him off guard, and Sickly, he makes it work in Colombia with pistols. They come up trumps. Time and time again, pistols today have been the old faithful, something teams have almost practically relied on for these upset rounds. Oh, there you have it.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff coming out from Colombia, and it has to question whether or not something needs to be changed for Argentina in those anti-eco rounds. Clearing sites methodically could be the way to do it, or just push as a team and at least trade effectively, because at the moment it's not working out. Nice shot from Sam, will be handed that free frag over onto Johnny. The AWP at least will be picked up onto MBL, so not too much of a loss just yet. Smoke will be thrown down. Davies is going to grab another one in the meantime, and Spamsy, going aggressive, is going to spot quite a few players out. There's no way Tootin can know he's there, and, well, the push will continue. AWP on NBL doesn't even seem to have been aware of the push coming through, but it's faded back. NBL will at least grab one to hopefully bring something back into the favor of this Argentinian team. Looking... Oh,
so close.
Almost like he wanted to go for that wallbang. Not actually quite going to go for it, so doesn't manage to throw this round back into a spiral, but still with some potential. They've got that up, definitely work the picks, and there's a minute left on the clock.
Good chunk of time to play with. NBL ever so close to spotting out a player in mid, but unfortunately it looks like the jump is going to be given to Sam instead, who, well, gets made aware of the back of that shot being, well, attempted. Stormy going to be creeping up ever so close, and if the T-side get away with this completely uncontested, I am going to be flat out shocked. And well, it looks like Davies got some other ideas in terms of how he wants to go about this one. Of course, on a 4-man CD side setup, when it's a 4v2, it's not the end of the world, but it still just gives them so much room to employ. But Sam is going to knock down Tommy. Now NBL's hopes and dreams are slowly but surely beginning to, well, unwrap themselves into what felt like a pretty bleak painting of Colombia. They're on 14, and we are looking at what certainly feels like a bit of a dangerous predicament now for Argentina. We talked about can they come back, and it almost felt like the minute we asked the question, we jinxed it because it was turned back on its head, a swiveling round, a swiveling output. And Colombia looking to close this one out in, well, pretty uncontended fashion.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes being made at the moment in their Antico rounds, and, well, it may not be done after this one, but it's still going to be very, very difficult. It looks like something has gone wrong in terms of sound, so looks like we're just going to have to pause this one, and I'll go back to it in just a moment. It should be relatively easy to reset this one, but yeah, in terms of the overall...
Not a pretty number in any way, shape, or form. The M4 looking to really kind of pin down Highway. They should have the perfect crossfire to drop this one dead. So if this T-side even remotely close, something has gone wrong. The blunder has been made. Stracker will claim himself a frag. Johnny to read up with a quick second. But it is still going to be, well, somewhat of a normal round, and, well, I don't think Tootin has his work in a pretty positive standlight. Of course, a 1v3. The difference with a lot of these pistol rounds that we've seen where the pistols have won has always come down to kind of 2 versus 1 to isolation. For Tootin right now to win this, it's pretty much kind of relying on these 1 versus 1s. And in this case, it's just who can open the door, apparently, because they are both going to be, well, having a bit of fun and games.
Oh, it's actually going to be a team kill.
Get played.
Spamsy throws it in, and, well, Tootin actually comes up with a rifle for that. Maybe there is an opportunity now. This is a little bit ridiculous. The player going up is actually very low on HP, but it will be Sam to finish things off. Although it came close, although it was entertaining, it will still be Colombia to take the round. And while now we see that all important by Argentina, they need 5 rounds in a row. Otherwise, we are finished, and Colombia, well, they're at least in a very good state to go through.
It's a pretty damn big ask. But we've seen it in the past. Let's see if it can be delivered again. Of course, in terms of the buy, they've got to really kind of make this round in particular work. It is going to be 5 flat rifles. They've got a strong amount of utility when it comes down to smokes and flashes, but that is going to be about it. And well, in terms of positioning, it is going to be this kind of spread out default. And for the Colombian point of view, not really too much aggression to be mixed on in. It's going to be just them holding, passively waiting for this T-side to come to their doorstep and say, you know, feel free, try and come on in, because they're going to be there lying in lurch, ready and waiting. So the surprise factor is an element I am going to be looking towards. Looks like some smokes are going to be set up on towards this A site, and, well, we have ourselves a fake amongst the mist with the bomb ready and waiting to push it on towards B.
Here we go. Tootin is going to be making his way through. There's already 3 players actually on the site itself, so if they're going to make this push, they're going to make it now, but at least if they can hold them there, that might actually pull out this fake. 2 players currently over towards the site. It's already going to be Spamsy to find one, and actually Spamsy grabs himself another in the meantime. A lot of players are falling. There's still 1 over towards the checkers box. And that's going to be Sickly trying to challenge this one back, and he's going to drop the bomb. The rotation is not going to be made. That will be it. Colombia are going to take this map. They'll get themselves the 2-2 win. And well, now Argentina